Welcome to Just In. I'm your host, Adriana Lamar, and today's show is brought to you by Delicious Treats and Creative Prints by D. All right, today is Saturday the 6th. There's a lot going on this weekend, the biggest event of which is the Super Bowl tomorrow. We're going to talk about that, plus Cowboys news, the quarterback landscape, lots of trades going on, COVID, its impact on sports attendance, and maybe another topic or two. So with that said, let's jump right in. All right, so let's talk about the Super Bowl. We've got that coming up real quick here. Tommy, thoughts?
Well, it looks to be a good one. It's going to be fun. With these, one you have future and you got past, and obviously both in the present as well between Brady and Mahomes. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think this is going to be a close game, much like the one earlier this year, or not earlier this year, but last year was earlier in the season. I think this one stays close. One of the big things that's interesting, that's kind of see how it works out, is if you recall earlier this year, Kansas jumped out 17-0, out of the gate. So what happens if that doesn't happen in that game? It changes the dynamic, and I would imagine that at this level, we're probably not going to see that. If we do, then we know where that's probably going to go. But even with that, you kind of saw the fast start on one side that slowed down, and then the slow start on the other that sped up. So it's going to be a fun game to watch for certain. As much as everybody wants to come back and look at the excitement of the defenses and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if anybody's being honest, this is Tom Brady and Mahomes, and that's what everybody's kind of looking at to be interested. As we talked about previously, we probably won't see another Tom Brady in our lifetimes, and if we do, it's probably the guy that he's playing against on Sunday, right? That's just the way that it is. So
I saw something I thought was interesting today as goat and baby goat.
Yeah. And as far as go, like I said, I stand by it. Tom Brady wins this one. He's not one of the greatest. He is the greatest. Like, to do that, to go from one team to another one, another one was struggling, to go back and win a Super Bowl that first year. I mean, I don't know what else you'd want from him, right? We got to wait till he starts saving babies from a fire, I guess, to name it. But a couple of interesting things that I had, the one this week was, I think you guys hear about the COVID scare. I guess one of the team barbers tested positive. Yeah. And I think the last I saw, there were folks were coming out of the COVID protocol, I guess what this calling it, or the quarantine, whatever. So it looks like, maybe it probably impacted some practice time. But stuff happens. They're professionals. I'm sure they've dealt with worse in their lives. But I just thought it was interesting because, they were talking about that. I guess Mahomes was in line, not right in line, but was going to get his haircut later that day. And you just start thinking about, the impacts of COVID, right? If that had happened, now you've got COVID. Like something happens, he catches COVID, he can't play in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The whole dynamic of this, just like, okay, well, why are we like? I don't want to watch it no more, right? And then the other one was Antoine Whitfield, senior Antoine Whitfield Jr. Senior intercepted Tom Brady, and Junior is playing with Tom Brady. How'd you like to be one of those guys? You've been in the leagues for so long that you've played with father and son. Like, that's a long time to be playing in the NFL.
It's an exceptional career, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what do you think, Sam?
I think that this game is going to come down to defense. It's going to come down to defense, and though we have respect for both quarterbacks in this game, it's going to come down to the defense and who's going to have the most first down on third downs. That's what's going to happen. So As long as Tom Brady doesn't turn over the ball, this is going to be a close game. If he turns over the ball, then I don't think it's going to be a close game because I think KC has the weapons to be able to turn those turnovers into points. Now, I would say the other thing for the Super Bowl is that whoever possesses the ball the most is going to win this game. The last game that they played earlier this year, KC had 543 yards. Tampa Bay had 417. Turnovers were KC had 1, Tampa Bay had 2 through 2 picks. KC possessed the ball for 36 minutes and 47 seconds. Tampa Bay had 23-13. So, I mean, it really comes down to who's going to turn over the ball. Now we know Mahomes, he's not, if they get to Mahomes, then I think Tampa Bay has a good shot at winning this Super Bowl. If KC comes out and play like they've been playing, I think it's night for the Bucs.
Well, I think something to consider in that though is, what was the score earlier in the season?
27 for Kansas City.
27-24, with Tom Brady throwing 2 picks and having a 14-minute 14-minute differential on the time, and 100 yards less. So that's the issue that I get is even when we saw Tom Brady in the championship game where it's like, yeah, he threw his picks and he still won, and he's got that thing going for him where apparently he can have a subpar game and still get it done. But as you said, it comes down to defense, and you're correct. Defense comes out if they can get the turnovers. The real trick is can the defense finish the job? If Kansas City's defense can finish the job, it's going to be no question. And the same thing, the Buccaneers defense doesn't have to finish the job the way their team's set up, but they've got to keep Kansas City in check. My take is I don't see Kansas City's defense finishing the job on Tampa Bay. I still think they have the edge as far as who wins. I just think that if they win, it's going to have. I think Kansas City winning is going to depend largely on what they can do on offense.
So, I mean, that brings up a good point. This is the Super Bowl, right? Stakes are high. Brady has been there, 4,500 times. This will be Mahomes' second time. Do you think pressure will be a factor?
Yes, I think both of them have something new to gain, right? They're both playing against people that they would look on the other side of the ball and say, I'm playing against greatness. Tom Brady has an entire legacy, which he knows his opportunity to add to is dwindling, right? He's not gonna play forever. I'm not gonna say he's done after this year, but it's not like he's got 10 years left. So for him, it's coming in and having that legacy of now I've got, Super Bowls, multiple teams, and, that level of success. For Mahomes, one, it's back-to-back. It's his second. And then who is he playing against? This is a chance to say, yeah, I won 2 Super Bowls, and on my second one was going through Tom Brady. The interesting part, too, that folks will talk about if Kansas City wins, but what we will talk about, everybody will be, is that means both of Mahomes' Super Bowl wins essentially went through Patriots quarterbacks that are no longer playing for the Patriots.
Well, and that's that's the interesting thing I'm seeing with this game. I haven't wanted to watch the Super Bowl as bad as I want to watch this one, even given last year my team was in the Super Bowl, and that's the 49ers. But even last year, I had no like question that the Kansas City was going to win that game, right? There's no comparison between Mahomes and Jimmy G. It never happened, right? This year, we don't have that same clear cut. Like, it's very obvious we have two great quarterbacks. They have good supporting teams on, and I think that makes this weekend's game really, something to look out for. And obviously, like you just mentioned, Tommy, no matter who wins, there's history to be made here.
Yep. That's the nice part.
True. And it also depends
we
on
definitely watching legends.
It also depends on who's running the ball good. Who's running the ball good too. I mean, last game, Edwards ran for 37 yards with 11 carries, and Ronald Jones ran for 9 carries for 66 yards. So if any team can get the running game going and possesses the ball, then they can win. Now, with Tampa Bay, if they can run the ball and keep Mahomes off the field, that is their best chance of winning the game. But also, it does come down to defense as far as, like I said, it comes down to defense for both of these teams. And I'm excited to see it because I think at the end, my Super Bowl pick is going to be Kansas City Chiefs. But hey, we will see. We will see.
I'm still sticking with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, TB, Tom Brady, TB.
It's meant to be.
Wow. Wow. I mean,
I don't even know who to pick. I like Mahomes. I dressed up my daughter, what was she at the time, like 4 months old, for Halloween as Patrick Mahomes. Looked adorable. And I'm definitely interested. I know last show we talked about how motivational Mahomes is, and so I'm kind of eager to see his energy out there on the field. Even if Tampa Bay is successful in keeping him off the field as much, I think he's going to be that guy who's pushing the defense to get out there and make the plays to get the ball in his hands, which you don't typically see from Brady, who's typically sitting, studying his device and kind of watching, but he's not that energy. And I think there's a difference to be made when you have the energy on the sideline and on the field with you, and they're the same person,
Yeah. So, Jenna, who are you? Who are you going for?
I mean, I really can't decide. I want to say I want Patrick Mahomes to win because he's young and he's up and coming and he just has that energy and he's exciting to watch. At the same time, this would be like the greatest season to cap off. I mean, and this is if it's the cap for Tom Brady to leave the Patriots after 2 decades, basically, and come over here and win a game in the first season attempt. It's like mind-boggling to me. And I want it for both of them, really.
I would argue Belichick has a reason for him winning those, but that's just me.
Of course he does. He scored more points.
Awesome. Well, all right. So we got one for Kansas City, we got one for Tampa Bay, and we got one undecided. So I guess we'll all find out shortly here.